cloud in the meeting.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I see okay. Yeah, it's recording because I see the little record on top.
Okay, amazing. Hi, Jackie.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Amazing. So I just want to thank you for joining me. So basically, you recently took my little workshop. That was Integrate the Workshop. It was kind of a 6-week self-coaching, radical self-love course with some of my favorite coaching tools. And you had some pretty fun wins in the workshop. And I was wondering if you don't mind sharing. Maybe let's start with like, what was your biggest, favorite, most fun part about the workshop? What did you enjoy the most?
I really enjoyed all the videos, the way that I could just go back to them whenever, especially because of my work schedule, I could just go back whenever I had time. So that was really good and convenient for me. And then also I love just from the beginning, like one of our first one-on-one sessions. The one-on-one sessions were amazing. But one of the first things that I learned from the one-on-one sessions was like just being better at time management, and just like our talk and the little tricks you taught me helped me so much, and they made such a great impact on my day-to-day life, where I just feel even more productive than I used to feel. So that's been amazing. And one of my personal wins.
That was gonna be my next question. Like, what was the biggest, most useful, bless you, like tip, trick, thing that you experienced in there? And maybe like, is there a part of that time management thing that you still do daily or that you really enjoy? Like what actual part of the technique, in case anyone's listening, like, yeah, time management, whatever.
So just the whole, it's such a, like I said, when I first told you, it's such a small thing, but it made such a great impact. The thought download that you taught us to do, where we just basically write everything that's on our mind. And then I learned to like plug that into my actual schedule, and taking that a step further by actually scheduling whatever I had put on my time download. I mean, my thought download, so it would have a time correlating with with it. So it'd be more of an action than just a thought. That really helped me basically feel like I'm getting so much more accomplished. And that little trick just basically changed so much for me. So thank you.
Yay. Okay, my pleasure. That's really fun. Another question that I wanted to bring up is, so you and I were friends way before I ever even started coaching. You've known me from, I don't know, years ago. We used to work at the Andaz on Maui together. And I wonder, like, if some of my friends are looking at this and are like, Yana is like this crazy chick. She jumps off waterfalls and she does like, I don't know if I want to coach with her. They know me as my friends in my past life. Tell me about coaching with me as a friend and how that was.
It was great. Honestly, I feel like just because you are my friend, I felt more comfortable sharing a lot of the personal stuff, and like how you would always say, do you want to go deeper? And I would be more prone to say yes, because I feel comfortable telling you all these things, and very personal things that I feel like are hard to share with people, and maybe for myself, because I know you, it was just easier for me to share those things with you.
It's awesome.
And your advice and everything has been so great, and really helping me kind of push through these barriers, like sometimes just like these mind blocks that we experience, and emotional blocks. You really helped me kind of try to push it to the limit and try to learn to face those blocks and try to grow from them.
What do you think on that other, and by the way, my cookie's not lost in my coaching too, huh? Like,
No, I love it.
Yeah, so if you knew me from my past life and I didn't resonate with you then, I still probably am not like a grounded, brought together, where we have a lot of fun and it's really enjoyable. And I feel like my coaching is like more live, and that's my personality. And so I love that my adventure buddies can resonate also with this more like you were saying, the emotional work, right? And going into some of those uncomfortable places. So oftentimes I feel like in our society, it's not something people even see a value on. Like, it makes sense to get a really great job. It makes sense to invest in a home, and it makes sense to even make a business plan, right? But when it comes to our own lives, to think about like investing in my mental and emotional health, well, whatever, like Why would I do that? We put self-care in that way, especially doing that work, having those realizations, going into the emotions. When that happens and we put it off to the side, what, like, now that you've on the other side of this and you said, well, I can actually see the benefits in it, what would you want to tell somebody else that's like on the fence, considering like, why would I want to buy a course for $250 that's about radical self-love and integration and emotional wellness? What could you see in the benefits for someone, another friend of ours, possibly?
Yeah, I feel like I've always had a lot of self-doubt, and that's another one of my emotional blocks that I feel a lot of people deal with. And you taught me how to take that and look back and see why, and just ask myself all these questions that you don't take the time to do. And once you do take the time to really look within, your picture outside of you just becomes clearer. Like, just from your course, like, a lot of really great things happened in the weeks that I was in it, that you got to witness me kind of having a breakthrough moment with your help. I mean, I'm not going to say like it was obviously me having to do the work, but you helped me just by the tools and the guidance that you provided, kind of see things in a different light and be able to evaluate my emotions kind of outside of myself, and in a different way where I could understand them better and see a purpose behind it and put a purpose for the emotion, like make it meaningful and make it lead me to something.
And then, yeah, and that's the most important part, right? Like, we never like hang out in the past or dwell, but when the discomfort comes, when that emotional is there, we learn that we can use it as a lesson, as a teacher, and we learn how to integrate it, and we learn how to do it softly and kindly, and witness our emotions. And then from that place, it's like so much easier to take really sometimes uncomfortable action, right? But that leads you towards your dreams. Like, I always say, no one said that your perfect life is supposed to be easy or come easy or is going to be rainbows and daisies. Sometimes things like bravery feel uncomfortable, right? Things like overcoming self-doubt means you have to believe in yourself in a new way. And that might feel uncomfortable at first. But on the other side is some like really huge wins. So is it cool if we share with the audience what like a practical cool win for you was in this and your success, and kind of what happened with one of our coaching calls, and that synchronicity moment during the workshop?
Yeah, sure. So I would say to start it off, I got the opportunity to be on this really awesome cooking show because I'm a chef. And I grew up watching it, so I'm not going to say the name of the show yet, but that's what happened. And I was really afraid when I was being interviewed by the producers to speak about my childhood and basically my story, my real story of why, like, why I am who I am, why my food is how it is, why it's so important to me. And it was basically because I'm a dreamer, so I didn't want to speak about my legal status publicly. But after having my first interview with the first producer and not speaking about it and getting off that call, I felt like I wasn't being true to myself. I didn't feel good about how everything went. I was doubting, like, oh man, I blew it. I blew it. I didn't say the truth. Like, they're not going to choose me. And if I felt like I kind of missed out because I didn't speak the truth. So then I talked to Yana.
Right. And then the next day we have a coaching call, and you call me and you're like, guess what? The producer from the show, I had the interview. And I'm like, yes. And you're like, no. It was not a yes. So we kind of broke it down in that call. And then tell me your point of view. What happened?
Yeah, so I was really hesitant on whether I say the truth the next time I get a chance to talk to them, or B, try to kind of protect my job. I was just not sure if I could speak upon that because of my job and who I'm associated with. Um, so after that call, that we really kind of broke it down, and it was broken down like deep. Like, I cried. I mean, I felt like I was reaching parts of me that of as a child, like child that needed to hear certain things, that needed to feel certain things to kind of thrive now and not be afraid. And so after we did that, and I know, I'm sure you know what moment I'm talking about, I just realized, like, I kind of just woke up and was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna speak my truth. And I just got all this bravery out of nowhere, and I took action and went and just got a clear from the HR, like made sure I talked to them. And that way I did basically both things. I still respected my job and their values and respected however they would react to the situation. Yet I still gave it a chance and made sure that I could, second chance I got to talk to the producers, I would say everything. So thankfully I got to do both. And I got another call from the producers and I got to speak the truth. And after that second call, I felt amazing. I felt so happy, so thankful that I got the second chance to really share my story and speak the truth.
Uh, is and so like, without going into, first of all, I'm melting, my heart's melting every time. I love that story. And yeah, I definitely know what moment in the call it is. And sometimes I think this is where, like you're saying, like I had to go to some inner child stuff. We went backwards. It was deep. I cried. And a lot of times that process is really difficult because we're often sitting with two truths, right? Like for you is wanting to be in integrity to your job, to your boss, to your current situation. And then also like, I have to say that this is my calling, this is my cause, this is who I am, and this is bigger than me, right? And integrating those two parts. And I think in that call, what happened is we got to the place where you just witnessed both of them, understood that both parts were okay, seen, heard, allowed, accepted. And then when you said like this unexpected bravery came, that's the natural result of doing this work. Once we integrate something and we understand from back there, like, hey, let's just bring this all together right now, here in one, it dissolves so much stress, frustration, unknowing, right? You have a clear sight of action. And it's like a whole new clarity comes when you emotionally are in a place of acceptance and understanding and love and appreciation for yourself. And I think, like, let's say you get on this show and your story could be witnessed by so many, this is one of the things we talked about on the call, so many young women going through the same thing and they're inspired. What impact that could have on our society, on our world, on the conversation that we have about immigration and dreamers, and is so much bigger than this coaching call, right? But on that aspect, that's the type of doing that emotional work, the way that it can fizzle out into the world. It's like, to me, it's so priceless. And I just am so honored and so grateful to be a part of that experience and to have witnessed that and seen you do the work. Because you're right, I just hold space and kind of guide you. You're the one that's doing all of the integration, the understanding, the looking within, the going only as deep as you want to. It's always an invitation, right? And you just had such tremendous results in that aspect, and it just makes my heart as a coach melt. So thank you for sharing and being so incredible, and I can't wait to see it air.
Thanks. Just like you said about synchronicity, that's really what happened. Like if I hadn't had that call like scheduled at that time, like, I mean, it was so great. I needed to hear all this and at that moment, because if not, then I might have just not ever. I would have just been afraid to say like, oh no, what's gonna happen if I tell them I'm a dreamer, and then my job here said I'm discussing my immigration status on national television, and I was so afraid and I wasn't sure what to do. And all that had just happened like one after the other, where like it worked out and I was able to take action accordingly. And like basically now here I am, like getting ready to fly out at the end of the month to go to this freaking show. So thank you so much, because that was such a meaningful moment. And like you said, I really hope that when it does air, that people look at it and watch it. Everybody just gets inspired, even if they don't deal with this immigration issue like I do.
Yeah. Oh, that's so big. It's like, I love it. And so what would you say to like anybody who let's say, has a passion project. I know you are kind of thinking of other passion projects you're wanting to work on. This is part of your experience coming into your own business model and what you're doing. For anyone who's like, what can coaching do for me? I don't understand this little 6-week workshop, and I don't know, why would I want to join? If that would be like a closing statement on what you got out of it, and especially when it comes to living your passion and getting more and more honest and truthful in integrity, right? Integrate is the whole idea here, to yourself. What's the benefit of someone jumping in who's on the fence?
I think that just taking the time, and 6 weeks is not a lot of time, but just taking 6 weeks out of your entire year to just really tune in within yourself and really look at the bigger picture. Honestly, that's what it's done to me, where like I already knew. I've taken courses like you said, a business course at the college, learning how to map out a business plan. And I feel like this was that, but for my soul. Like I really um I was able to kind of fine tune like just certain emotions, look within, really take the time to care for myself and take care of like the emotional aspect, the spiritual aspect of my being. Like I a lot of times we just go day to day and neglect all of that because we're so busy with just other stuff like physical, like, oh, I have to make money, or I have to do this, I have to do that, and we neglect something that's so important. And what you don't see in the long run, that it kind of blocks you from succeeding, or experiencing like the maximum of whatever it is you're doing. And any project that you're working on, like you call it, my passion project. Yeah, I've been having this project that I've been not necessarily working on directly, but always having my steps work forward towards that. Look, I think this has really made me look at everything and see it in a different light, and approach everything in a different light, where I am now being, even just within myself, like, and on a daily actions, daily emotions that run through my body, I analyze them differently. I kind of just feel like more clarity. That's like the main thing that I can tell you. I just feel like this has gave me so much clarity on my passion project and on myself, just what I want out of life. And I'm very thankful that I was like, I was really just doing it because I'm like, my friend's doing this thing, like I want to support her. And it just turned out to be something so amazing, where I feel so thankful that we've gotten. I mean, especially the coach, the one-on-one coaching, I just have to say, like, was so amazing that you took the time out to do these sessions with each one of us that took your course, and those were so impactful. And I'm thankful that you did all this, because it's been, I mean, I would just say anybody that has any desire to improve even just a little bit, like, do it. Because I mean, I was working so much that I didn't even do the courses like the other ladies, like as consecutively as they did, but I still feel like I grew so much in that time. In just one class, I'd be done with one coaching call, and I'd be like, oh my God, I feel like so much has changed, radical change. And I felt like, or just one lesson that I would do on my own, I'd feel like so much would come out of it. Then there's like worksheets that she made that you print out and you basically do after like your homework, and all those homework times after it, I'd be like feeling so relieved. Like I just got so much off my chest a lot of times that I saw things in a different view. It's just like, it's like somebody took me out of my body and was just like, "Whoop," and then you can see yourself. I just felt like it's been great. It's been great. It's been a lot of, I feel like, prosperous growth, and I'm so excited for the future. And this class has really been like synchronicity just came in when I needed it without me knowing, and has really helped me kind of prepare myself for the next step. So thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm just so excited. And so the best part right now is you guys were part of my beta test run, first time I've ever done it, but I like fell in love with this workshop, the work. I think it's so profound, so meaningful. So I'm just going to run it over and over and over and over and try to touch as many people as possible with this course, this container. And I want to just, my goal is to evaluate, make it better and better myself. And as I'm doing this process until I'm like, this is it. Everyone who joins right now gets lifetime access to any of the upgrades and price point, like one-time buy-in, and then also lifetime access to our group coaching calls. And I know you were so busy. That's what you were saying with your schedule. You didn't get to attend all of the group coaching calls. Actually, you didn't get to attend any of them except for the last one. You still got that much value out of the class.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Those calls are available on replay afterwards. But even in that last call, like to be able to, so we shifted the times and I'm going to add more and more times, but to be able to jump in and have that aspect of community, right? So even though you're done with the first round, all the upgrades you're going to get, and then you're still in for all the group coaching calls that will ever happen, and we'll adjust those and have, you know, you'll have access to me as your coach as I build this tribe, as I build the community. And as long as I'm doing these group coaching calls, like, let's, you know, as long as that's a part of the program, everybody's invited. We're all here to play. And I really just want life coaching to be accessible to all of us. And so tell me just a little bit about that last call. Cause it was to me, it was like the best one too, because we were all partying and celebrating and laughing.
Yeah, well, first of all, you started it off with some groovy tunes, and that was so awesome. And just being able to meet everybody, I envision that, like, after you told us at the end of the class that you were going to be letting us come back to the group calls, I envisioned like a few years from now, like how your calls would be like so many little squares because it'd be so many of us like joining in, and how awesome that would be to like know that I got to be a part of the first group and just watch the growth. It's going to be so amazing, and I'm looking forward to it. But it was so great to just finally, because I didn't get to do any of the group calls before that because of my work schedule. I'm always working, but that last one was nice just to see everybody, because everybody had already done all the courses, like the entire course, and had already had their wins. So getting to experience their wins, like we shared all our wins with each other, and that was really awesome and very inspiring, because I hadn't met anybody. I hadn't really known. I just knew a little brief this and that about watching some of the videos, because I was pretty behind on like the videos. So I only met them through that, and so it was really nice to get to see like in a way like the final results, in a way, even just a quick little 6-week course, that how it impacted their lives, because I know how it impacted mine, but getting to see all of them and their wins. And it was like a group of really amazing, powerful women, and it was like a bunch of entrepreneur badasses. So that was really awesome to be like, oh, that's awesome that it brought me into this group. And now I feel like, even though I just met them through Zoom and now through like Facebook, like I feel like now I have a small little circle of support from them as well. Like I was actually reached out by one of them, and like we added each other on Facebook. So it's really awesome to like, something like this can also help you bring in the right kind of people to your life, positive people, and people that share that same mindset of like just self awareness and self improvement.
So good. Yeah, that's like totally my goal is, you know, it's to build our community and a community where we can all just come scratch each other's backs, because life gets tough and we can't always be the one that's on the high horse, right, all the time. But it's so nice to have this beautiful community where we can come together and, like, especially when we're learning the same tools, the same concepts, say, hey, I need help with this, or and now part of the way I teach, I think, is so much empowering you to use these tools by yourself, with yourself, no matter where you are. So you kind of start becoming somebody who can self-coach, right? And work it yourself. And then now when somebody else reaches out to you for help, it's like, oh, wait, hold on. Let's support them in this way. And it just creates such a beautiful, healing, I think, open space where, and even what I was going to say, you keep saying, by the way, like nobody was doing their video, or everybody was caught up except for me. Nobody was caught up, and that was never a problem though, right? Like that was never, right?
Yeah.
So like, I always wanted it to just be like, you have all the resources here. I understand you're busy, you're going to do it. And I believe in you. Just show up as much as you can and you're going to get a transformation. Right. And
yeah.
So what do you think? Like, everybody wants to know the money versus result things for $250 worth. Is it worth the investment?
I honestly think that $250, it's like I spend that when I go out to dinner, and I would definitely like going out to dinner, yeah, gets me a full belly, but that's about it. It's for the, and maybe like, yeah, some great memories I have with, depending on who I'm with. But this, like $250, I'm like, to really just have an impactful change in your life, like literally, even if it's just one thing, that's gonna be so much more worth than one dinner. Like, just that's the way I look at it. Like, the value that I'm going to get out of this course, and it's literally 6 weeks. So if you really break it down per week, that's super affordable, like extremely, extremely generous. And on top of that, it's like just the growth that you'll see maybe just with one lesson, after one homework assignment, after one one-on-one coaching session, like it's going to be way more than $250. Like the amount of money that's going to generate you. Like, I know the moment that I decided to take action, just after our one-on-one call, that really made an impact. The amount of money that could potentially bring me just from everything that's going to follow, like after that one step, like it's going to be worth so much more than that. So thank you so much for being so generous, honestly, and
Yeah.
making it so affordable. Like, it's extremely affordable. So thank you so much.
Yeah, that's my, and when you were talking about all the little faces on the Zoom call, like that's how I imagine it too. And I think that in the coaching world, I just wanted to create something where like my friends who would never think to spend money on coaching, knowing myself who I was in the restaurant industry, right? Like, I was like, that's exactly what I was thinking. What's expensive for dinner? Like, how much would be like where I would be like, if I dropped $250 on dinner for myself, like maybe that was a little much, like, and I was like, that's the price for my course. I want y'all to, like, the investment's got to feel like enough of a stretch, but I want it to be for people that will be like, because if you're already bought into coaching, you're going to sign up with a one-on-one coach for a year or a business coach or whatever. But I wanted this to just open up people's eyes to like, wow, what is coaching? This is so cool. This is what mental and emotional wealth feels like, right? Like, and that's the gift that I think it'll all add up in the long run. But for right now, I'm like, let's just, as affordable as possible, as many people as possible, within the containment. So right now I'm still doing just 10 people at a time because I really want to honor that space and make this course, right, as applicable. So yeah, as applicable and as safe and as nurturing as possible for growth, for transformation, for results for my people. So it's not getting out of hand or too big yet. Thank God.
Yeah, that's really awesome. It's been really nice to be able to share space with other people that also are sharing the same goal of just being a better version of themselves. So that's been great. And I honestly like wish I could have been able to have joined more. So I'm so thankful that you're gonna allow that, because now I can come back and even share my successes. Like, yo, this is what happened through being a part of your course, and what give them something to look forward to. But I feel like they'll just experience it firsthand, because I wasn't really sure what I was getting myself into. I was just like, I'm gonna do this thing and support my friend. And then I'm like, damn, that took me on an adventure that I was not expecting. And I'm thankful that I experienced all that because I needed to.
So good. Oh, Jackie, I am so grateful. Thank you for doing this and
Thank
sharing
you.
yourself and sharing with the world. I know that sometimes people are like hesitant to jump in, and a video like this could be the catalyst that they need to really create that change, that decision, that transformation in their own life. So I appreciate you so much today for
I
joining me.
appreciate you and everything that you created. This course was really beautiful. So I really am so thankful that I'm your friend, and that like I was able to be a part of like your first class. It was so great. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna thank you. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording now. Stop.